They say practice makes perfect. Let's get a solution on your computer for free so you can start your studies now. Hey guys, so they say lab every day and practice makes perfect, but it can kind of be difficult when you go and try to start networking for the first time and you don't want to purchase a lot of gear, or you can't purchase a lot of gear because you don't have the expenses as of current. So we're going to give you a free and simple way of giving you a simulator to get you up to the CCNA level and start studying today. So let's show you how this happens. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to navigate right here to this netacad.com, right? So Cisco gives Packet Tracer free download to any enrolled member. So the easiest way is to go right here to courses, go to Packet Tracer. This takes you to the Cisco Packet Tracer course. Right here, for an overview, tips and tricks, enroll in our brief introduction to a Packet Tracer course. This course it's obviously free. And then right down here, sign up today, English. Click that. Then you're going to enroll. So and then you click submit. Now once you click submit, it's going to send you a verification email and you go through those steps, so look out for an email from Cisco Netacad in your email box. Once you validate your email and you get your account fully created, what you do is you go back into Cisco, as you see here, and once you're signed in, you go into Resources, download Packet Tracer. So once you hit that download Packet Tracer button, it walks you right through the instructions, so you can download it for Windows, Mac, or Linux. They also have a mobile version for iOS and Android, so you can learn on the go. And then here's a quick introduction as to the using a Packet Tracer on a daily basis. So we're running a Windows 64-bit, so we're going to download. Okay, now once that's downloaded, just go click on it or navigate to your downloads folder to run the application. Keep in mind, when you're running this application, it might ask you for administrator permissions, so you actually have to click yes to allow them to write to your hard drive. So as you can see here, this is the first setup page you get from the Cisco Packet Tracer application. Go ahead and read through this license agreement and then accept it once you're completed. And we're just going to do defaults. I'm going to want the desktop shortcut, and we're going to go ahead and install it. Okay, now that it's finished, we're going to make sure that Launch Cisco Packet Tracer is checked, and we're going to hit Finish. This will launch the Cisco Packet Tracer application. Now when you first sign in, or when you first open it, it's going to require you to sign in with that Netacad Academy account you just created. And moving forward, you will have to sign in every day that you use this. Once you have signed in, you meet with this lovely interface. This is the logical interface that we are typically going to utilize for showing our topology, seeing the link states of the devices. We're going to throw in a couple devices here real quick for a quick tutorial. We're going to throw in a couple switches, and I'm going to throw in a PC and a laptop and a server. All right. So this is the logical interface. So the very bottom left, right, top of the white bar, this is where you get your network devices, and then below it is your various network devices. So you have routers, you have 4331, 4321, and goes on down the line to different models. Then you have your switches. You have a base 2960 layer 2 switch. You have 3560s, 3660s. They're both 24 port switches. The key thing to know about these is they are layer 3 capable. So you can do inter-VLAN routing with them. You can do EIGRP, and you can really practice that core configuration inside your topology. You have hubs, wireless devices. So you actually have a wireless LAN controller, and I think there's an access point in here. Right here, APPT, APPTA, APPT-AC, APPTN. So these are various types of access points you can join into the wireless LAN controllers. Then you have your ASAs, and then you have your WAN emulations, which can be your cloud configurations, such as this. So it can be like a almost like a frame relay, but this is we're not going to utilize this in my tutorials, so we're going to delete that. Then you have your end user systems, and for the most part, I just use the end devices. I use PC, laptop, server. Every once in a while, I might do a sniffer, and then you have your IP phones and your VoIP devices and stuff. For the most part, router switches, PCs, servers, that's all you're really going to use. You have other components. These are where you got your connections. So this right here is the auto connect tool. It's going to automatically pick the port, and it's going to pick the cable type to connect those two devices. This here is the cable or the console cable connection. So you can actually console into it via a PC into a router, and you can emulate that hyperterminal application into that router. You have your straight through copper, you have your crossover copper, you have your fiber. This right here, that's your phone. That's your phone line. This is your coaxial line. This is serial DCE. So the first device you click on and the first serial interface you click on will be a DCE port. The second one is serial DTE. So both of them will be DTE, and there'll be no DCE configuration on either end. This is your octal cable. So you can actually take a router or a device and connect 8, maybe 16 devices into that router and set that up to be a terminal access server. So you can console into 8 devices at once, and you can switch between them using just one terminal. That is really handy, more for a physical lab environment, and we will walk through that and that configuration on the physical side in case you have that set up or you want that set up at home. And then there's USB and custom cables, which we typically will not use. Now right here, top left-hand corner, you're going to see physical. And then it gives you a base map. You go ahead and click Home City, Corporate Office. As you can see here, your PC and laptop are outside of your main wiring closet. Okay, so you can actually, if you really wanted to, you could actually put a map or a diagram here of a facility. You can locate all these different devices around the corner. When you go into your main wiring closet, you can see you have a power distribution device, you have a couple routers, multi-layer switches, a 2960, and a server. Excuse me. And so you have that server, multi-layer switch, 2960 layer 2 switch. So it kind of gives you a physical view. And once you start connecting cables, you're going to see cables plugged in here. So we're gonna do that real quick. We're gonna just connect these two here. And if you click on one of these cables, if you press Control and then click on one of these connection types, okay, it's going to automatically keep that same connection across the board, and then you can cancel it. So you can make multiple connections at once. So if you're doing a lot of copper connections and you want straight throughs, say you have 10 devices you want to connect with a straight through copper, you can actually just Control click that copper, and you can just click and select your interfaces you want. To show that, I'm going to click. Once you actually specify a straight through, then you get to pick the actual interface you want. And you click on the other one, and you pick the actual interface you want. Whereas when you do the auto, it just it just picks a connection as far as the interface. So let's go back to that physical level. We're in our main wiring closet, and now you can see that there are copper connections plugged in through here, right? All these devices are connected. Obviously, you can't see the back end of them or where they route, but you can actually see them. And if you zoom in, you can actually see they show LEDs. So what we're going to do is when we go through these topology builds and these labs, when I create a port that's an error disabled, we'll actually come in here and see what the LEDs are showing and see if they're accurate to what they would be showing in real life. In real life, if you have a port in error disabled, what it would do is it would either not show green at all or it would show amber, depending on what's causing it or what state it is in. Okay. So that right there is how you install Packet Tracer. That is how you typically use that. Quick rundown on the devices, on where you can locate the devices. One thing I will say in addition is we're going to go into one of these routers, and if we want to put in a serial interface card, which is the NIM-2T, if you want to put that in right there, you can see where it says the plus arrow. Once you drop it, it says cannot add module when power is on. So you got to look at it physically, find the power button, turn it off, then drag your interfaces on there, and then power it back on. And then it'll boot up as it normally would if it was a traditional router. Now what you can do is there are SFPs, so right here is GLC-T and GLC-TE. These are SFP modules. So this router actually has a SFP module. Let's see if we can zoom in and see it. Right here up top, I believe, is where it's at. Yep. So right there is the SFP module. You can hot swap SFP modules. So you can take it out or you can put it in. So right there, I put a copper in. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to actually put a fiber in. I'm going to take that out, put another fiber in. Those are hot swappable as they are in real life. The other part I wanted to show you is the layer 3 switches, specifically the 3650. If you look here, you have this blank bay here, and you have two blank bays here. If you go to CLI, it says device must be powered on. So the 3650 switch, they don't have power cables. They have power cables. They don't have power switches on them. So as soon as you supply power to the device, they boot up. The problem here is there is no power supplies there. So we actually got to take the power supplies and put them on here. Now you can actually take only one. Okay. But in real life, if you have a bay for two, you typically run two in an enterprise solution, so you have power redundancy for your device. And then it's the same thing here. This device here also has four SFP modules. So we're going to slide over. Right here's 4 SFPs, so you can put copper or you can put fiber. So we'll put 2 fiber in here. Put 2 copper in here. Right? And again, those are hot swappable. We can put whatever we want. Right? And that's all you can put into this device. And right here, when you insert a module, it tells you exactly the modules that you use. So that covers a basic walkthrough of how to get a Cisco account, how to install Cisco Packet Tracer, so you can begin learning today and purchase hardware if you want a physical lab later. We're going to be walking through some configurations for VTP, STP, HSRP. We're going to build out a couple topologies. We're going to build out a couple labs. We're going to break them. We're going to fix them. I might get somebody from my job to break a topology or break a lab, and we actually have to troubleshoot it, to work on that troubleshooting process and how you would go about that, how you would attack these issues, especially if there's multiple different issues on the network. Keep an eye out for the following videos that will come out for the tutorials or the lab builds, the troubleshooting labs, and we're going to do a Cisco packet tracer version, but then we're also going to do a physical lab version, and we might even turn up a GNS3 environment for individuals who might want to emulate the Cisco environment versus simulate it. So with the GNS3 environment, if you actually get the iOSs legally, you can emulate the iOS infrastructure, you can emulate the router, you can emulate the switches, and that will actually give you real life, like you were working on an actual Cisco device. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like and subscribe button below. Stay tuned in this playlist.